Guys, what's up? Darcy here at Six Strings Nine Lives, back from a few days off, a little bit of rest, relaxation, and I got to listen to quite a bit of music. Fortunately, I have a CD player in my truck, so I always have, probably 6 to 10 with me at all times. And if I'm away from home, I always have my headphones, those noise canceling, wife canceling headphones. Yes, those. And, Bluetooth that, doing some yard work, things like that. Always have the tunes on. And I got thinking a couple of videos ago, I think I mentioned that I don't shut the door on newer bands. I'm still always, if a recommendation comes in or a newer band that I think I'd like to try out, I do. And I thought, let's put a list together of what I have in my collection, which was more than I even thought. You know what? Some are absolutely going to stay. There's some kind of in the middle and some on the fence that they might not make it long term. We'll see. But, throw it down in the comments, some of these newer bands that you're listening to. There's some here that I know that are going to stay with me 100%. And again, I don't mean older bands that are newer to me. Let's say the cutoff here is the year 2000 until today. But I guess most of these, I think the oldest band here, and I'm talking studio albums, not actually when they formed. I don't know all that information, but I think 2005 might be the oldest band in this bunch. And all discovered a lot right here on YouTube over the past 5 years and change. So I just picked out 10 today. Yes, there's more. I could probably do a part 2. But let me know in the comments some of your favorite newer bands that you've been listening to. It doesn't matter genre, thrash, glam, death metal, whatever you want. I got a little bit of a variety here. I got a little bit of a variety in the countries that these bands are from. But let's start off with a band that you've seen on this channel many, many times that I fell in love with. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you their latest album that I have and maybe a couple highlights. But for this first band, Hell Ripper, everything's a highlight to me. So this is Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags. Came out early here in 2023. Absolutely love this album. James McBain, the one-man wrecking crew from Scotland. Just superb. Like I said, I really fell in love with Hell Ripper. There's nothing that I don't like. So this is their 23rd studio album from 2023. And then I'm actually going to show you all 3 studio albums. There is an EP and one other compilation. If you want to check out, you can backtrack. I did a couple of Hell Ripper videos. And The Affair of the Poisons, debut on Peaceville Records. This is from 2020. Superb. I just can't recommend Hell Ripper enough, and I'm sure maybe a few of you are sick of me talking about Hell Ripper, whatever. And the first studio album from 2017. This is Coagulating Darkness. This is actually a recent reissue from Diabolic Might Records that do a fantastic job. So there's a band, a newer band, and we're going to say 2017. Formed a little bit before then, but this band is sticking with me. I am absolutely looking forward to anything that James is going to do in the future. Just evolving so awesome, really, and very evident on Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags. Okay, next band up. I've Discovery right here from a good friend of mine right here on YouTube. This is Ram. Their first album came out in 2005 called Forced Entry, which is actually, or should be, getting a reissue here on High Roller in the calendar year of 2023. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Ram's last album from 2019, and then I'm going to show you 2 more kind of highlight albums that I love. Ram is from Sweden. And you know what? I got one of the hype stickers right here, and I'm going to read this to you. Swedish heavy metal in the vein of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Well, that's right up my alley. It doesn't say exactly like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. It says in the vein of. So you got to remember that. But if you like Judas Priest and you like Iron Maiden, I'm pretty sure you would like Ram. And they're not a copycat band. They have their own sound, but they still got, for me, when I put Ram on, there's still that great feeling of nostalgia. And maybe that's the way it is for you too. But so here is their album from 2019 called The Throne Within. And they are definitely due for a new album here. It's been going on 4 years. Signed to Metal Blade Records. I still think they are. I hope they are. But this is a great album. But I got 2 other highlights to show you. If you want to get into Ram, here's 2 of my absolute favorites. This is Death from 2012. This is their actual Metal Blade debut, which this would be their 3rd album. Called, like I said, Death. The actual title does not appear on there, but there it is. This is killer. To save this video to be not 30 or 40 minutes, I won't mention a bunch of tracks. I'll just show you these albums. But Ram, Death from 2012, and another one of my absolute favorites is Subversum from 2015. Again, they don't have the actual title, but there is the title there. Subversum from 2015. I got, where is that? Return of the, and this font is just crazy. The Return of the Iron Tyrant. Oh, just superb. But this is one of my favorite Ram albums for sure. And like I said, really looking forward to a new one from them. That's another band that is staying in this collection, going nowhere. Let's show you one that I'm not going to say they're on the fence, but I don't. And another part of this video that sparked me putting the list together is some of these bands I listened to initially, bought a lot of their stuff, and then just put them on the shelf. I just don't see me, or, oh, I should go listen to this band right here. This is Havoc. They have 5 albums. This is their latest album from, what was this, 2019? No, 2020. So they're definitely due for a new one. This is V or 5, so representing their 5 albums that they've released so far. If that artwork looks familiar, that is that Elron Cantor, who's done lots of metal album covers, the New Creator, the latest Testament album, and a shitload of other ones. But this band I have not been listening to that much. They're part of what you would call, if you want, for lack of better words, the new wave of thrash metal. They're kind of a resurgence, and there's a couple other bands that are in that kind of category that I'll show you today too. But this is a solid album from 2020, but I just don't go back to this band that much. The one thing that bugs me a little bit still is the vocals. I have a tough time when like a thrash metal vocalist is trying too hard. It's not always necessary. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not calling this a shit album by any means, or a shit band. Definitely check out some Havoc. And one of the highlight albums that they have that I could point you in the right direction to is their album called Time Is Up. I forget what year this one's from. This is a 2020 reissue. So this is probably, 2016 type of 2016, 2017. Really cool artwork on this one. And yeah, really good album. Probably my favorite from these guys. There's the back cover. So yeah, I'm going to spend some more time with the Havoc discography. Sometimes what happens to me is I forget about something until a new album of one of these bands pop up and okay, one song got released, it's getting released in 2 months from now. I start listening to everything again, kind of reacquaint myself. But what I really want to do is to get to know these bands. That's why, there's going to be a cutoff point at some point for you can't listen to everything, and you don't want to just listen to 50 brand new bands and remember nothing. I'd rather listen to 10 new bands and try to retain some of what I'm listening to, if I'm explaining myself good. Anyways, here's another thrash band. I really enjoy the lighter side of this band. So I'm going to show you their latest album that I own from 2020. The band is called Gamma Bomb. They are from Northern Ireland. 7 studio albums, and this is their 7th studio album called Sea Savage. So these guys got a kind of a goofy side to their lyrics and their just their whole way about them. The vocals even have that wackiness to them to a certain extent, but the guitar riffs are awesome. Really good thrash, and a band that I believe these guys will stick with me. I own 6 out of 7 of their albums. I do not own their first album, which was from 2006, called Survival of the Fastest. But so this is their latest from 2020. So another band who's probably due for a new one. But here's a couple of highlights from their catalog. This is, which is this one? This is their album from 2013 called The Terror Tapes, released on AFM Records. Now, what I'm meaning about this goofiness, there's a lot of cool stuff in this band. There's a little bit of Anthrax in here. There's a little bit of just 80s thrash vibes, but they're fresh vibes. Okay, so goofy songs and things like that. We got a song on here called Backwards Bible, Superb, Beverly Hills RoboCop, Smokin' the Blow with Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is an actor, a really good actor, by the way. And yeah, Metal Idiot. They're silly, but there's still great music in here, and it flows, trust me. So this one's called Terror Tapes, and then another one of my favorite from Gamma Bomb is from 2015 called Untouchable Glory. Let's pull that out so you can see this cover. This one's kind of like a homage to older films and things like that, and some of the song titles pertain to that. What were some of these song titles here too? Yeah. Avenge Me, Drinkers Incorporated, Ninja Untouchables, Untouchable Glory. Yeah, pretty cool album. Really enjoy some Gamma Bomb. Generally what I'll do if I got kind of in a Gamma Bomb mood, I will just grab the 6 albums I do have, listen to them consecutively, put them back on the shelf for a while. All right, let's throw some a Canadian band that I really enjoy, and I forgot to take this little slip case off. This is one of these digi sleeves. Sorry about that noise. So the band is Cauldron, and their first album came out in 2009 called Chained to the Night, and that's the only one I'm missing. I do have their other 4 albums. This is their latest from 2018 called New Gods. These guys are from Toronto, Canada. I mean, no matter where you are in the world, I'm sure you've heard of Toronto. I personally live thousands of kilometers away from Toronto, probably 3,500 kilometers, something like that. Would take me a long time to drive there, that's for sure. But yeah, Cauldron, New Gods, so they're definitely due for a new album. This one came out on The End Records in 2018. Not a bad album, not my favorite of the bunch, but I'm going to show you, if I'm going to tell you, go check out Cauldron, this is the one. This is called In Ruin. This one came out in 2016. There's the cover without the glare. Highly recommend this one, and a couple tracks to go check out. My favorite track is Come Not Here or Santa Mira. Great track. And Burning at both ends. So 3 really cool tracks to check out from Canada's own Cauldron. Let's switch over to some more Sweden. There's actually Sweden's in here a couple of times. And this is a band that released a brand new album this year that I showed right here on my channel. This is Enforcer, like I said, from Sweden. So this is their 6th album called Nostalgia. Not a bad album at all. I really enjoy this one. It grew on me fairly quickly. Quite a bit better than their 2000, what was that? Called 2019 release, or 20, whatever, called Zenith. This one's quite a bit better. Love the artwork on this. So these guys are right in that, you know, new wave of traditional heavy metal. They have elements of speed metal, and traditional heavy metal. They're a metal band. They're a heavy metal band that I enjoy. And like I said earlier in the video, if you're going to throw in comparisons of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, so what? That's exactly right up my alley. I don't always need, and I'll throw this in here now, I don't always need new music to blow me away. It just has to be good. I have my albums that from my past, I mean my video that I've done on my top 50 albums of all time. I have all that. I'm good. And you know what? I said that this doesn't have to be to blow me away, but a lot of it actually does. So that's Enforcer's newest album. So their first album came out in 2008 called Into the Night. But a couple of highlights from these guys for me are, what year is this from? 2013's Death by Fire. Let's get that out of there so you can see it. Here's Death by Fire. If you want some really good Enforcer where they're right in the pocket, check out this one. And check out their 2015 album, I believe this one is. Yes, 2015. Both of these released. They are on Nuclear Blast, and they've stayed on there since almost the beginning. But here's From Beyond? I'm sorry. From Beyond from 2015. These two. Check those out if you want to dig into some more Enforcer. And their new album is really good too. Let's continue. Let's shift back. Actually, there's two Canadian bands left here. Here is a newer band from Canada, very close to where I live. It would probably be about a 10-hour drive to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where Riot City is from. This is their debut from 2019 called Burn the Night. And right away, you look at this and you go, Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. I mean, it's almost, almost a rip-off of that cover, but they're just showing their roots, what they love, what they are. Love their logo. At this time, they were a 4-piece. They're now a 5-piece. I'll talk a bit about that. The leader of the band, Cale, what's his first name? Cale Savvy, did all the vocals on this, and he does a really good job, but he wanted to bring in an actual vocalist just to focus on, so he can focus on his guitar playing and more melody live, backup vocals, things like that. But if you haven't checked out Riot City, recommend this one, Burn the Night. And then when they announced that they were getting a vocalist, I was like, okay, well, shit, he was doing a great job. Why are they doing this? But they brought in Jordan Jacobs on this 2022 release called Electric Elite. And again, you got kind of a throwback cover. You got an animal on there. Great logo. Thunder, lightning. Looks like this, what is it? A Jaguar is, half bionic or whatever. But it's just metal. Straight metal. Great solos. Great melodies. Definitely check out some Riot City from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Like I said, right in my not my province, but a short drive over. Yeah, a short 10-hour drive. Let's continue with, what else do we have here? How many more do I have? I got 3 more bands. Let's shift over to England. Thrash band Evil. 2007, a really awesome debut album came out called Enter the Grave, produced by none other than Flemming Rasmussen. Of course, from Metallica fame, you know his name. But here's Enter the Grave. So this is a band that I've only been into, like I said, the past 5 years. Great debut. This is with Matt Drake on vocals. He has since left the band. He's not on the past 2 albums. But if you want to check out some early Evil, check out Enter the Grave. Fantastic album. Now, I do have their new one on order. It only got released here in Canada on July 28th, so a couple days ago or whatever. So it's on the way. It's called The Unknown, and it's definitely a bit of a departure from their last one. Now, if you don't know the background of this band, Matt's brother, Old Drake, is now on vocals, took over on the album. I'll show you because I actually really enjoy this album from 2020. Anyways, the new one is on its way. There's some great tunes on there, but there is a bit of mixed reviews on it. But I still think it's good. I really enjoy it, but I do like this one better. It's more thrashy. This is Hell Unleashed from 2020, I believe. No, 2020. Where is it? 2021? Yeah, 2021. Because this was their Napalm Records debut. And Old Drake's debut on vocals. So yeah, this thing has got some really killer thrash on it, and it's just a good balance for me. It's not the vocals are not, he's not trying too hard, they're not overbearing, the riffs are great. The drummer in this band is fantastic, but I really enjoy this one, and I'm still really looking forward to getting to know the newer one a little bit more. So Evil, and they have, how many albums do they have out now? Their new one, The Unknown, would be their 6th studio album. So like I said, a lot of these bands have, I mean, we have 2 to 7 albums is kind of the ratio we got going here. But yeah, check out some Evil. And next to, now the last two, I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence. Will these two bands, survive the long run? I don't know. But this is another Canadian band from, I think they are from either Calgary, Alberta, Canada, or Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, one or the other. But this is very similar to what Riot City is. This is Traveler. This is their debut from 2019, self-titled. And actually the drummer, Chad Villar, is actually, I don't think he's in this band anymore. I think that's him right there. He is in Riot City. He is Riot City's drummer. There's the band. You got a couple of, looks like a couple Sully Erna's brothers there. Anyways, Traveler, just a little bit a mixture of the just traditional metal and some speed metal. Just simple, cool riffs, really good vocals in here. Definitely do enjoy Traveler, but again, I don't find myself going back to them as much as I thought I would. So, this might be a band that you don't see down the line in my collection. I don't quite know yet, but again, not saying it's crap. So if you're a Traveler fan, you know what? All the power to you. And I do have their 2nd album, so they only have 2 albums, and this was a quick turnaround. This is 2020. That debut was from 2019. This is called Termination Shock. Very similar cover, too. It's almost like, that kind of actually did bother me, because these covers are just so, they look like part 1 and part 2. They probably could have changed it up a little bit. I don't know if going to this is a good thing, but it is a good album. Which do I like better? Actually, I think Termination Shock might be quite a bit of growth on this one, but it's only a year apart, but I really enjoy the songs on this one too. But to date, I don't know if they're working on new material. It's already been, like I said, 3 years. We all know we had COVID and all that in between, but so there is Traveler, another band that is newer to my collection. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything. And then finally, a band that I've kind of lost a little bit. I'm actually sorry about, there's some dog barking out there, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm haunted out, put it that way. I think Haunt has now released 7 or 8 studio albums or 8 studio albums in 7 years, or 7 studio albums in 6 years. Now, I love the early Haunt. This is from 2018. This is called Burst Into Flame. This was very refreshing at the time. There's some tracks on here I just absolutely love. Crystal Ball and Reflectors, two that I highly recommend. Frozen in Time. And then 2019, and then there was an EP. There was an EP before that. And then there was that album. Then there was another EP. And then the second studio album that I really, really enjoy, If Icarus Could Fly. Haunt, Fresno, California they're from. Trevor William Church is kind of one of those one-man show, you know, comparable to Hell Ripper with James McBain. But this is more in the traditional metal. You know, I've heard there's lots of things. I've even heard like a little bit of Dokken in here, a little bit of Priest, things like that. Just a real mixture of that. And it has that 80s vibe for sure. But If Icarus Could Fly, really good, solid album from 2019, I believe. Yep, 2019. And then there's been two albums that I haven't even bought. What's the new one called? Golden Arm. And then there was another one, I forget the name, but here's the last one that I bought. This is called Beautiful Distraction. And you're talking 2018, 2019, 2020, two studio albums. These aren't long albums by any stretch of the imagination. They're some 25 minutes, to 23 to 27 minutes, maybe 30 minutes tops. So, but what kind of got me on this last one and kind of got me to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a bit of a Haunt break. Not that I don't think Haunt is terrible by any means, but too much, too fast, and it just started sounding really samey to me. And actually on this album, there is two tracks. It's In My Hands, and I think Fortune's Wheel, maybe, that are remade from earlier albums already. And there's actually two songs, Sea of Dreams and A Fool's Paradise, that were remakes of singles that they did, or splits from other bands. So I thought, you know what, if you're just already remaking your own material to put together an album, I'm like, you know what, we're going to just take a bit of a break. So I just want to listen to what I have, and I don't need an album every year. I don't need two albums from a band every year. That's almost too much for me. But anyways, give me your thoughts on some of the newer bands that you've been listening to. I always appreciate your feedback. And like I said, some will stay, some will go. And I got a list of probably 8 to 10 more of these bands. And yeah, I can't see it getting too much bigger. Like I have mentioned in other videos too, it takes a lot to, you know, kind of make my collection as a permanent part of my collection. So, and yeah, some are kind of in limbo, and some you just don't go back to, and then some all of a sudden, boom, they just click. So anyways, give me your feedback. Like I said, I always appreciate it. Until next time, stay heavy.